Caleb,
What's up?
you jumping in this episode?
Sure am.
I'm excited. We haven't done an episode together for ages.
It's been a while.
Anyway, this episode 40 for you guys, clinical dose about to go down. Caleb, we've got 5 very interesting questions in this episode. Yeah. Let's dive straight in.
All right, so question number 1. With so many supplements going around, what is your recommendation? D3, fish oil, B, etc. And this one's coming from Samuel J. Fletcher, IG Q&A.
It's a very broad question you've asked here, Sam.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to frame this one a little more direct.
Yeah.
To provide some good advice here. So what we'll do here, Sam, is we'll give our recommendations on general health supplements, because that's kind of the direction you've gone with vitamin D3, fish oil, vitamin B, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So we'll give our recommendations on, or really what we kind of take for general health, so to speak. So I take my general health supplements in the morning. So my routine at the moment, I get up, I have my pre-workout meal, I go to the gym, I train, come back home, have my post-workout meal, get ready, head to MJHQ, head to the office, and before I head to the office is when I'll take my morning supplements generally. Okay. And at the moment, I take, there's a lot in here. I take vitamin C. I take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C.
Okay.
I take 4 capsules of vitamin D3. I take a full spectrum B vitamin, so I take B complex from First Form. I take a fish oil, so at the moment I'm taking Core Omega, and I generally jump between that and First Form Full Mega as well as my fish oil supplement. I take OptiGreens 50 as my superfood supplement. I take, I told you there was a lot in here. I told you there was a lot. I take ambrosia nectar as my my organ health supplement, and that's it.
Whew, okay.
Off the top of my head, if I had them all in front of me, I'd be able to go through them one by one. But that's my personal general health stack.
Look, I'm actually quite similar. Like, so same thing, I train in the morning as well. So I get all my pre-workout, post-workout meal, get all that out of the way. But instead of in the morning before I go to HQ, it's usually when I arrive at HQ, that's when I'll have my health stuff. So
Caleb's got his little supplement pantry in the kitchen over here.
The only one I think is I take a little bit of vitamin C. I think that's the only one I take at home. But then I'll usually rock up to HQ. I'll have my greens powder, which at the moment I've got Force Element Green Aid, which is pretty good. Fish oil as well. Vitamin D. Some Mega B complex. Yeah, even some iron as well.
Okay. Yeah, I don't take iron in its free form.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that I can remember off the top of my head.
There you go. So Sam, that's what we take personally, and obviously those are going to be our personal recommendations as well.
Beautiful.
Next question, Caleb.
Next question, tips for getting fit on a super small budget. And this one's coming from liftxdaily.
This is a question that I actually get quite frequently, especially when I go through things like my supplementation regime, and people are like, "What the hell, man?" But you got to remember, guys, like this is what I do for a living. This is what Caleb does for a living. We're in the supplement industry, so we have access to a lot of different products. When you're on a super small budget, I think a lot of people kind of get overwhelmed. They see all of the supplements, they see all of the food, they see the gym memberships, the active wear, the workout accessories, and all this stuff, and they go, man, like, how am I ever going to get fit without spending, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every month on my fitness regime? And you can scale everything back. Like absolutely. You don't need to spend a lot of money, especially getting started in the fitness lifestyle, right? My first piece of advice is the first thing you got to do is your diet, right? We talk about fitness first and foremost. People think exercise, I think going to the gym, they think, the caloric output side of things. But guys, it starts with your diet. And the good news is that's the easiest place to do it on a small budget. Because if you have a look, especially people that are coming from eating out a lot, eating a bunch of fast food, just making choices with meals that aren't fitness lifestyle friendly, should we say, it's generally much more expensive than actually eating good food, eating whole food, cooking your own meals, prepping your own meals in batches so that you don't have to eat out. You don't have to go and spend, hundreds of dollars here and there on meals. If you can actually get prepared, get organized, you can actually save a bunch of money on food and then start, a fitness lifestyle type diet as well. So far as the exercise thing is concerned, if you don't have money for a gym membership, I mean, gym memberships these days are so cheap. I think like my gym membership cost me like $5 a week or something. But even if that, if you just can't afford that for whatever reason, nobody says you have to go to the gym and train to get started on your fitness regime. Look at all the people in lockdown at the moment in New South Wales and Victoria, here in Australia and different parts of the world, that can't go to the gym even if they wanted to, that are still able to have some sort of fitness regime, training at home, doing body weight type exercises. We have a full video series on the MassiveJoes.com website called In the House, which is body weight and resistance band exercises that you can do when you can't access the gym. So, absolutely, you can get started on your fitness regime. You can progress your fitness regime with a very, very small budget.
Yeah. Touching on the food thing as well, a lot of people, I think the problem is, we don't prepare and we don't plan. All these people don't prepare and they don't plan, and they see the healthy food solutions and options. And companies, they purposely, like food companies, they make more healthier foods seem more expensive. Where in fact, if you actually prepare and plan, you can actually plan out your meals for a lot cheaper than you would, say, if you were going to go grab a burger from your fast food joint.
Man. 100%. Yeah. And when you start prepping meals, you start batching meals, and then you can start buying things that you need in bulk. You're saving money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think probably those are the main two tips. Don't think that you have to have a massive budget to get started in your fitness regime. Start with your diet. Start by getting organized with your diet, prepping meals, batching things up, buying things in bulk so that your price per meal comes down. And so far as your exercise regime is involved, you know what? We're going to put a link down below in the description box to the In the House video series. Start training at home using just your body weight. If you've got some resistance bands, you can afford some resistance bands, start there as well. Just start.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Next question.
All right. How important is meal frequency?
It's from piero.raschella from Instagram Q&A. This is a good question. If I go back to when I first started in bodybuilding, when I first started competing in bodybuilding, and the kind of old school mentality around, dieting for a show, meal frequency, chicken, rice, broccoli every 2 hours, that sort of thing, to where we are now, almost 20 years later, the theory has evolved, should we say?
Yeah.
And the science has caught up with the theory as well. We do actually now have a lot of science on, does meal frequency matter? So long as you're hitting macronutrients, does the source of the macronutrients matter? There's a lot more information around questions like this, how important is meal frequency? Does it really matter? What are your thoughts, Caleb?
Yeah, look, I think meal frequency definitely plays its part. I think probably what's a bit more of a priority would have to be meal timing when it comes to meal frequency, and especially around, obviously your pre-workout and post-workout windows. And then it also just kind of depends on what kind of phase you're in. For me, meal frequency is definitely a lot more important when I'm in a cutting phase.
100%.
If I can just have more meals, more frequency, probably a lot higher volume meals too, but lower in calories, it's just going to keep me satiated throughout the day.
Yeah, definitely. I think, one of the things that I want to point out here, Piero, is your body has a mechanism to store carbohydrates. It's called glycogen, and your body can store carbohydrates as glycogen in muscle and in different organs in your body. Your body also has the ability to store fat as body fat, as we all know. Your body doesn't have the ability to store protein. It doesn't have the ability to store amino acids. There's no mechanism upon which we can store amino acids or protein, peptide-bound amino acids, for use at a later time. Doesn't exist. So when it comes to how important is meal frequency, if you're trying to maintain a positive nitrogen balance to allow your body the environment and the macronutrients to build muscle, I think that meal frequency is incredibly important because that is the constant flow of amino acids that your body needs to repair and rebuild muscle tissue. And then when you're in a caloric deficit and you're trying to maintain muscle tissue, exactly the same thing, right? So I think, is meal frequency the be all to end all? No. If you can get protein every, let's say, 3 hours or so during the hours that you're awake, I think that's ideal for improving your body composition, meaning building lean muscle tissue and then maintaining lean muscle tissue when you're trying to lose body fat in a caloric deficit. So I think that is ideal. Then the question is, what fits your lifestyle?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you able to eat every 3 hours? Are you able to get protein in every 3 hours? Some people can, fantastic. If you work an office job like we do most of the time, beautiful. If you don't, if you're on a work site or you work in a mine or whatever you do for an occupation and you just can't eat every 3 hours, then you can't eat every 3 hours. So what fits your lifestyle?
Yeah. I mean, I sort of had that issue probably a few years back before I was with MassiveJoes, and I guess like the only thing that I could say that I was doing was just trying to get a protein shake in when I could. It was every 3 hours or so.
100%. Next question.
Oh, this is an interesting one. How do you see advancing tech impacting the fitness industry? This is from swingbirches at IG and Q&A. Oh, the IG and Q&A today.
Yeah, it's all coming from Instagram. Good question. I think, generally speaking, is going to be overwhelmingly positive.
Okay.
Because I see advancing tech as providing more information. And once again, just to go back to when I first started in the fitness industry almost 20 years ago, we didn't have things like sleep trackers. We didn't have ways to easily monitor heart rate during the workout, during the day. We didn't have, a lot of the things that we take for granted now. We didn't have apps to track our macronutrient intake like Calorie King or MyFitnessPal or anything like that. It just didn't exist. Now we have so many of these things that we take for granted that I think, give us more information to make better decisions around our lifestyles, and therefore, have the ability to positively impact fitness in general.
Yeah, I tend to agree there. As well as I think about all the information now that's available on social media. Yeah. And how prominent it is, and how we almost didn't have access to that 10 years ago.
100%.
People didn't understand what a calorie deficit was. Now people are getting it.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot more free information out there. I think you've just sparked a thought in my mind as well, Caleb, that's particularly timely at the moment. With the ease of access to information, right? Also comes the ability to become a little bit lazy with the information that you consume. And the danger that you're consuming the wrong information without actually doing any of your own research. If somebody says to you, you know what, Caleb, or you consume somewhere on social media, caloric deficit doesn't matter, just go keto and you can eat whatever you want within the realms of keto, and you're going to get shredded and look like this shredded person, right? If you don't actually take that with some curiosity and go and do your own research, what's a caloric deficit, what's keto, what's thermodynamics, how does this work, how does that work, and you just take that at face value, that has the ability to have a negative effect on your personal fitness and the fitness industry in general. So I think that there almost becomes a little bit of a responsibility as a consumer with the ease of access to so much information to do your own research at the same time. Double check things, triple check things, dive in, be curious effectively.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Next question, last question.
Most effective ways of getting potential customers to try and buy your products, in your opinion? And this is from Juggernaut.pk.
My man, over in Pakistan. I'm going to let you lead off on this one because you do a bunch of work in the retail side of the business.
I was going to say, the first thing that comes to the mind is the try before you buy that we've now got right back in stores. So actual in-store sampling of the products that you can try before you buy. So I believe this month we actually have Vitality Switch in kiwi strawberry flavor.
We do, which is a superfood supplement.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people have been getting around that. I think generally speaking, the most effective way to get potential customers to try and then hopefully convert and buy your products is to firstly find where your potential customers are. right? That's the first thing. For us in retail stores, it kind of goes without saying, because we're running retail stores. If you're walking into the retail store, you're a potential customer by default, right? So that example kind of ticks that box anyway. But one of the other things we do is we still do a lot of samplings at gyms, at clubs, at studios, at personal training facilities, all over, well, all over the country, but now with lockdowns and shit, all over the city here in Adelaide in South Australia. So you got to find where the potential customers are. You know, in the supplement game, you know, if you're talking about supplements in particular, it's going to be gyms, it's going to be sporting clubs, it's going to be these places where those potential customers spend a bunch of time, right? You need to get in there, and then you need to sample products. You need to talk about products. You need to get exposure to these products. So whether that's through physical sampling, whether that's through seminars, whether that's through giving information, you know, once you get people's attention, once you've located where those potential customers are, you then need to provide value for that attention.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you kind of, you know, you build brand, you build exposure, and then eventually, you know, if the product is right, if the pricing is right, if the service is right, you convert them and they'll become customers.
Yeah, I agree. And you talk about the whole give, take kind of mentality as well. Or ask,
give, then ask.
Oh, yes, yep, my bad. Yeah, and I think, you know, another thing we like to do as well is we usually like to give out samples of different products as well from different companies. We do that with our retail store and as well as online as well through our online orders. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's really actually something, you know, that I want to highlight, and a really good way to kind of end this episode and end this question is one of the things that we live and breathe in the Massive Joes business is this concept, for lack of a better term, of give, then ask, right? So what we're trying to do there, what that means is give 3 times, right? So it might be give information, give value, give a product sample or something to try before you ask for something back in return. Yeah. So you said take, and there's a slight peculiarity there, right? Is we're not taking, we're asking for something back in return. But the important distinction there is that we're giving 3 times. We're giving value, not once and then asking for something back, not twice and then asking for something back, 3 times before we even have the audacity to ask for something back. It doesn't mean we're going to get it. But once you've given value at least 3 times, then you're in a position to ask for something back. So I think that's, you know, a really good way to kind of end out that question.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Caleb, that's a wrap for this episode of The Clinical Dose. Guys, if you have a question that you would like us to answer in the next episode of The Clinical Dose, the best place to put it is down below as a comment to this video here on the YouTube channel. That's the first place that we look. And then obviously a bunch came from Instagram Q&A here. Yeah. So Instagram, we tend to put up a question box on a weekly basis. So if you follow @MassiveJoes, if you follow me personally @Joseph Mencel, we tend to put up question boxes every week, and you guys can slide a question in there. Caleb, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
For making an appearance in this episode of The Clinical Dose. Guys, as always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the Massive Joes YouTube channel. Turn your post notifications on so you don't miss a beat when it comes to all these new editions of Clinical Dose and everything else we've got going on here on the channel. Until next time, we're coming to you from MassiveJoes.com.
Stay massive.
Thank you for tuning in to this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the Massive Joes YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.